could do the 30th.
Those are. You think we should start?
Next Friday.
You're ready?
30th, but the only thing is, I like to do it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dawn,
Okay, perfect, because I'm in.
if you want to start the recording?
Let's,
So we'll.
maybe we can talk after the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll.
That's frustrating. I'm sorry.
Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the January 26th, 2026, the first of the new year, Technical Advisory Committee. And as always, we will start with introductions. I'm Larry Zimmer. I am the chair from the city of Healdsburg.
Therese Willinger, City of Healdsburg.
Tony Bertolero, City of Sebastopol.
The Tyrese, Sonoma County Regional Parks.
Laughlin, Sonoma County Public Infrastructure.
Ashley Cotter, City of Sonoma.
Jordan Greenberg, City of Petaluma.
Torina Wilson, City of Santa Rosa.
Derek Montani, City of Cloverdale.
Alejandro Perez, Town of Windsor.
Dave Ripra, SCTCA.
And in the back of the room, staff.
Adam Garcia, SCTCA.
Steph Britt, SCTCA.
Chris Cohn, SCTCA.
Chris Barney, SCTCA.
And online, David.
So online, we have Dana Teray from SCTCA, and we also have as attendees, Giovanna from Sonoma County Public Infrastructure, Michelle Fajardo from City of Roanoke Park, and Rachel Eid from Santa Rosa City Bus. I should note that we are switching to a Zoom webinar format, so attendees will need to raise their hand should they wish to speak or provide public comment on the item.
Great, thank you. On to public comment. I am not necessarily seeing anyone from the public. So approval of meeting minutes from the December 4th. We have one small change of note. If we could please add that Sebastopol Public Works was in attendance, although virtually for the December 4th meeting. And if there are any other changes, seeing none, we will assume that their meeting minutes are hereby approved. Item number 4, TFCA TDA 3 quarterly reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Margot Acanyas from our staff is on another call right now, but if you have any questions on the status of your TFCA or TDA Article 3 projects, please let us know. The information is provided to you in the packet.
Do we have a need to come back to this item when? Okay. All right. We are flying. Item number 5, Measure M and Go Sonoma. 5.1 informational item, which is the invoicing obligation status for 25-26.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. So this item is provided as usual to show you the status of Measure M and Go Sonoma appropriations. Some of you have appropriations that were programmed but have not been appropriated yet. We understand several of those projects are going to be moving to construction the next year or two. And then as well on Go Sonoma, same story there. The invoicing status is also shown on your project, so please be sure to send us invoices in a timely manner. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Seeing none, also an informational item 5.2, the Go Sonoma maintenance of effort reporting is now due. Is there anything to add in there or just note in the packet?
Yeah, just a reminder that you should have all done your state controller reports for your annual expenditures of local roads. Please be sure to send us the required reporting so that we can calculate the Measure M and Go Sonoma maintenance of effort policy calculations. Please be sure to follow up with Shauna if you have any questions with that.
5.3, 1 and 2, the Go Sonoma roads allocation estimates and the Go Sonoma transit and fare free funding ratios and allocation estimates.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, again. So this is the first full year estimates, excuse me, the second full year estimates for Go Sonoma roads. And we're also starting to provide the calculations for the estimates for the Go Sonoma transit based on the coordinated claim that is done annually. So we are doing this estimate conservatively based on the revenue estimate the county has prepared for the TDA program, which is different type of sales tax, but very similar to Ghost Sonoma. So this gives you a rough estimate of what you should expect to receive in fiscal year 26-27. As I mentioned earlier, this is linked to the previous item on MOE. And if anyone is in compliance with the MOE policy, your amounts may go down a few percentage points and be redistributed to the other cities. So happy to answer any questions you may have on this.
No questions? Go Sonoma and STIP Exchange Project Quarterly Reporting Review.
Well, so there's another information item for you. So the fact sheets are based on your last round of quarterly reporting for Q2 of fiscal 25-26. This is also the first time we're providing reporting on the STIP exchange projects. The first one that has received a co-op agreement is the City of Healdsburg's Dry Creek Interchange project. So that report is also included based on the co-op agreement we have with the City of Healdsburg. There are some other projects that are in that funding category that haven't moved forward yet, but we will be working with project sponsors to get them in a cooperative agreement and moving forward. And this information is going to be provided to the Citizens Advisory Committee at their meeting next week, and then the board at their meeting on February 9th. So if you have any corrections or changes, please let us know as soon as possible. And if I have to answer any questions you may have.
All right, item 6, regional information update 6.1, which is typically informational only, an active federal obligation list. If Terry would like to talk about City of Healdsburg being on that list, we can do that now, or
I do believe the invoice has been submitted and is under review in a timely manner.
is there anything else we need to add on that?
Just a reminder to please submit timely invoices to Caltrans, and once you finish your project, close it out. I would like to congratulate the county for closing out an old safe route school project that's been on the active list for 10 years.
Nice.
I had to get one off the list, and there's more to come. So small things to celebrate.
We should have brought Nader online to hear this.
Seriously, yeah. I had nothing to do with it, but I appreciate that it's off the list. I have, yeah. It's good to have
All right, 6.2 MTC ATP Cycle 8 and RM3 Safe Routes to Transit and Bay Cycle Trail Cycle 2 information.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll turn this over to Dana Trey as she was at the meeting where this was announced, and she'll take it from here.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to provide a update from sorry, passing my camera here. The Active Transportation Working Group meeting with MTC.
We're working on volume, Dana. 1 second, we can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? No. Now? I'll just keep talking until I hear that you could hear me.
It's showing that she's unmuted.
I hear you, Dawn.
Yep. She's showing.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay. Oh, I hear a little echo, but maybe from Dawn, but as long as I'm not echoing, I'll keep talking. All right. So wanted to provide some information that is being passed along from MTC on I'll start with the Active Transportation Program, Cycle 8. MTC is holding a number of technical assistance workshops for the Active Transportation Program Cycle 8 applications. These are outlined in the memo in your agenda packet. And the next workshop is scheduled on January 29th. The registration links are in the packet, and MTC is going to be holding office hours just after those meetings. So if there are additional questions that attendees have based on the topics for these technical assistance workshops. You can stay on for those office hours as well. There is also some information in here about the upcoming RM3 Safe Routes to Transit and Bay Trail, the next cycle of the call for projects. And I also wanted to point out in the agenda packet, there's a link to a survey that where folks can provide interest in project locations where they would like to have site visits by MTC for active transportation projects. One other thing I just wanted to note that is somewhat related to this topic is that MTC is updating their Complete Streets Checklist portal. The portal is currently closed and set to reopen on February 5th, I believe. So normally we take those Safe Routes to School checklists to our countywide bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee. The next one for that would where we may have projects needing to take their checklist to that committee would be in March. So I don't anticipate that anybody will need to get into the portal over the next week or two. But if you do, you can reach out to me, and I have a contact at MTC that you can discuss that with. And yeah, that is my update. I'm happy to take any questions, but most of the information should be in your packet.
Any questions? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to.
All right, it sounds like we do not have any questions, Dana. Thank you. All right. Hello. We good? Okay. On 6.3 SCTCA funding cycle 2 evaluation process.
Yeah, thank you again, Mr. Chair. So we are in the process of getting together evaluation teams for the applications you all submitted under the SCTCA funding program cycle 2. We received 72 applications requesting almost $800 million, and we're looking at about $73 million available to program to projects. Right now, MTC is in the process of finalizing their OBAG 4 guidance that will be going to MCC Commission on the 27th, and then hopefully they'll be doing a call for projects in February or March. So we're trying to evaluate our projects ahead of that call for projects, see what the best candidates are, so that we can work with you to update applications as needed for OBAG 4 and get those applications done by next summer. We're planning to have staff recommendations for both OBAG 4 and the rest of the funding program by July of next year, or excuse me, July 2026. And then final recommendations will get done after MTC decides which of our projects will get OBAG 4 funds. So that process will wrap up in early 2027. So as I mentioned earlier, we're looking for volunteers to help out on the evaluation of those applications. We realize it's a lot of time to go and to prepare those applications, but then we also need a lot of time to evaluate them as well. So we realize that you may have a lot going on in your day jobs and may not be available, but we would be very grateful for any volunteers that could help score some of those applications. We're looking at probably about 8 to 10 teams of 2 to 3 people to score those applications. And we're thinking it's probably about 40 hours of work over 1 to 2 months. So if you are interested in helping us out, no obligation there, but we really would appreciate the assistance, and please reach out to myself or Shauna. But I should know that we're going to try to get these teams together probably by early February.
All right, thanks. Any questions or people jumping in to volunteer at this very minute?
I mean, I know that Santa Rosa, I'll do it. It'll most likely be me, but Santa Rosa will have a person, so I'll send an email. I don't know about city bus. This would be for traffic engineering team.
You get more points for volunteering on maps.
Yeah.
Brownie points.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, looks like we have a question from Rachel online.
Oh, please, Rachel.
Okay, hi, I'm getting used to this format. Lowering my hand. Yeah, so just a quick question, David. I think the two things that we're interested in knowing, and one, I would assume it would make sense for the transit applications to be scored by transit operators and the road bike ped projects to be scored by the road bike ped professionals. Are you guys contemplating that division of labor, or what are your thoughts about how the work would be divvied up? And then the second question would be, so just to clarify, you're considering starting this in early February. Just want to confirm that.
Yeah, so on whether transit applications will be scored by transit staff, I think it really depends on the volunteers we're able to get. We're going to try to ensure internally that each of the applications is hopefully going to be scored by members of both our planning and our programming teams here at SCTCA. We all have a little bit of transit knowledge, but if you and the other operators could volunteer, we'd be happy to take the assistance. But we can't guarantee that each application is going to be scored by experts in that field. And we're going to try to spread the knowledge around, and some people that have been involved in the previous cycle will be mixed with some newer staff as well. But we're going to try to ensure that it's a fair process for everyone.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, and I'm sure it will be a fair process. It just makes, maybe if we can get enough folks together on the transit side, I think it just kind of makes sense if there could be that division of labor. That's just my 2 cents. And also, we're really competing for a very different set of funds, and mostly funds that don't exist at this point in time, right? So it is a little bit different on the transit side. Anyway, thank you for that clarification, and we'll consider and follow up.
Thanks, Rachel. No other questions? All right, item 7, upcoming SCTCA board meeting will be on February 9th. And are there any highlights to discuss?
Yeah, let me just share my screen. All right, so we have kind of our normal items as part of the agenda, or meeting notes, or quarterly financial reporting. We're taking our proposed meeting schedule back to the board again, just a reminder, along with the annual briefing book that we provide the board. We don't anticipate any changes in our board membership from the different cities in the county, but that may change. But we provide them an update on that every year. We also are going to be sharing the quarterly reporting for Go Sonoma. As mentioned earlier, Dana and her team are working on a transit integration planning RFP that is planned to go to the board on a consent calendar. And then we're tentatively going to have announcements of the pending call for projects for TFCA and TDA Article 3 as normal, probably going to the board in February, but historically sometimes we take that to March instead. But we'll be in touch with you all when that call for projects for both of those happens. We anticipate having an appropriation request for the county for the Airport Boulevard Phase 1C. So I'll be working with Hunter on that. I should note, kind of related to the item that Dana mentioned earlier, we're working with some of you on applications for ATV Cycle 8 and working on some amendments to the task orders we have with some of our consultants to help out on ATV applications. So we'll be taking a board action for that, hopefully. And then moving to our regular calendar, we'll have election of chair and vice chair. Currently, historically, we've had our vice chair rotate into the chair position, and in this case, it would be Councilmember Ariel Kelly from City of Healdsburg would be in line to be chair for 2026, and then the vice chair will become a member of the board of supervisors. So we'll see what the board does with that. They may or may not move forward with that standard practice. And then we'll be presenting the first SCTCA combined annual report. Ross and all the staff have been working hard on that, so we're hoping that annual report will be well received by the board. And then we'll also be presenting our annual overall work program, talking about all the great things we'll be doing in 2026 as a staff, and then providing a legislative update as well from our legislative consultants. Moving down the list, we also have an update on our climate mobilization strategy update. And then also a contract award for our fiscal year 24 Safe Streets and Roads for All demonstration project that we're doing in partnership with the town of Windsor and the cities of Cotati, Roanoke Park, Santa Rosa, and Paloma. That's going to be awarded to a tool design group, and we're finalizing those contract negotiations now. Other than that, we'll have our normal activities reports, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on the agenda.
Is there anything of note or interest differing from prior work plans for SCTCA, or pretty similar to business as usual?
I think it's pretty similar to business as usual. As we wrap up our work on the active transportation plans, we're moving more into the kind of the implementation side of things for those, along with Safe Streets and Roads for All implementation. On the project side, as we've pretty much wrapped up work on the Hearn Avenue interchange and the 116, 121 roundabouts, we're moving on to other projects, including continued focus on the 121 A Street East project, and then potentially a new project for the Highway 101 Corona Road overcrossing in the city of Paloma. So it's more of the same. The biggest focus for the entire staff this year will be the SCTCA funding program and evaluating those applications.
All right, thanks. Anyone else have questions or comments on that? We're on the verge of a record short meeting today, so feel free to speak. Item number 8, roundtable discussion, informational items, grants being pursued, bid environment. I think we talked about it last time. We're continuing to see good bids. I assume others are as well, which is awesome. No?
For one project.
So our Highway 101 bicycle pedestrian overcrossing went out and came 8.3 million over.
Over what was the engineer's estimate?
So
29.
disclaimer, the engineer's estimate was a couple of years old, so we did expect that it would be a little bit higher, but we were hoping that it would still be within, you know, a couple million. The majority of that is material costs. So steel is wild, concrete work, paint, everything is costing quite a bit more. And then like obviously the labor to put those things in, but it's mostly the materials. So just heads up for your big capital projects.
So are you guys scraping and looking in couch cushions and coming up with the 8 mil?
Wonderful question. We could make it work at the expense of a bunch of projects that are ready to go, no longer being ready to go. So we're actually going to make that a council decision, because the other projects that the money would come from are projects that council is instructing us to do. So we're saying like, we can still do those projects, but they will be delayed. We're happy to put the bridge in, but they need to give us direction. So that conversation is happening on February 10th. If anyone's interested in how a council is going to respond to this. As far as I know, our director, Dan Hennessy, is going to be very upfront with them about like, this is an opportunity cost that you have to weigh. So we'll see. If they decide no bridge, then we get tons of money of our own back for other projects. So it's not really a lose in all the situation, but we'll see.
Well, how much of that was grant funded though?
12 million of ATP money, 10.6 of RM3. And then there's a little bit more grant money, but there's some flexibility on the other grant money that it would still be Santa Rosa, just other projects. So we'd be missing out on 12 plus 10.6. But then we'd also get back millions and millions of local money that we've had sitting on this project for a long time. But at the same time, we've spent $10 million getting to this point, and we were ready to go until the bid was over. So we'll see. If you want a riveting discussion, February 10th.
Normally, I don't watch other city council meetings. That one might be worth
I
watching.
think it's going to be interesting. I've been, if anyone hasn't already watched Dan present to our city council, it is fascinating the way that he presents topics, really gets them to absorb them. And the way that he's been able to do it, we've essentially gotten like full authority from council to pretty much do whatever we want. And part of that is the way that he communicates to the council about the safety impact of our work. So highly encourage if anyone has some extra time to just listen in on how Dan does it. I'm not totally sure how he does it, but so I'll be listening.
When is that meeting and time?
February 10th, council starts at 4 p.m. But it's right after the consent calendar, so it should be pretty soon after that.
I think we should all go as a field trip. Bring back.
Do it.
Popcorn.
I had another item under this
Please.
though. So Santa Rosa applied to the last round of SS4A funding, and that was the first time that we were applying to a federal grant under this administration. So it was an interesting process. We work with a couple like lobbying partners and some grant assistance folks. So they were really helpful in helping us craft it in a way that was responsive to what this administration is looking for. We did not get it, but we had our debrief yesterday, and I learned that we did everything right. It was very highly scored, but in the end, the administration ended up prioritizing locations that had not received SS4A funding in the past. I guess I have like my own internal opinions about some of that. If you look at the map on their webpage of where they did award, it's really interesting how they've avoided metro areas. So I mean, there could be a lot of reasons for that. One of my thoughts is if one of our jurisdictions is scored really highly next to like a more rural area that hasn't gotten SS4A before, and they also score highly, maybe they get that money. But I thought it was interesting feedback that we were able to appeal to what this administration wants, and it was more of a oversubscribed grant, solicitation. So just heads up for if anyone wants to do the next round.
And Mr. Chair, just to build on that, so we were also unsuccessful in the regional ask that we did for fiscal year 25 Safe Streets for All to update everyone's local road safety plans and to do new ones for Cloverdale and City of Sonoma. We will also have a debrief with the OSDOT on February 4th, and we're planning to resubmit that application on your behalf for the next round. That's coming out shortly.
We will also be resubmitting. It should come out in the spring.
Thank you. Both good items. Anyone else have anything to share?
We'll be going to council in early February for their consideration of award of contract for our Rainier Avenue paving project. Unfortunately, there we did have a pretty competitive bid. I think we received 5 or 6 bids, and they were all very close. And our lowest bid came in about $200,000 under the engineer's estimate. So exciting project. A true complete streets project. We've got protected bike lanes in both directions. We'll be doing an asphalt curb on one side of the street in the bike lane buffer to protect that bike lane, and then on the other side it'll be parking protected. And then we've also we are including converting an all-way stop intersection to a roundabout. And there was some discussion, I think, at our last TAC meeting, some questions about costs of roundabouts, and so based on the quantities and the bids, we were able to calculate the cost to retrofit this existing intersection, which is a really large intersection, and add a roundabout. There's roughly $300,000 for just the demo and adding all the new concrete islands, the roundabout itself, which will be landscaped. So good data point for anyone who's considering maybe modifying or retrofitting intersection with a
How
roundabout.
much did you say the roundabout is?
About $300,000.
For the materials.
So it'll have obviously all kind of concrete work for new curb and gutter. We did have to modify the sidewalks and curb ramps. So there's no private, we're not going into private property at all. We were able to do it all within city right of way. And I know that's often a big expense when cities are working in a smaller area, or if they need to expand the footprint of the intersection. So luckily we didn't have to do that here. But yeah, the islands will have kind of that decorative concrete, and then the inner diameter will be landscaped.
What council meeting did you say that's at?
February 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have issues with maintaining the landscaping? Is our
Yeah.
our roundabout very elaborate landscaping, but the cost is outrageous of what we're paying to maintain it.
We are hoping for we're going to go with a very low maintenance design. At least that's our hope. It will be irrigated with recycled water, because we do have a recycled water line that was just installed on this street. But yeah, I think that's TBD. The hope is that it will be not too that we're not going back every month, but we'll see.
You asked who engineered or planned your the plans?
We did in-house design on this one.
In-house, yeah.
Anything else? All right, we made it past the half hour and we are here. Oh, please. We haven't heard anything about BMTs today.
No VMT, but CTPs, our comprehensive transportation plan. So we've compiled the draft. It's going to go out in an invitation to a workshop or an open house that we're hosting next Wednesday, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in our offices here. So that'll go out to the TAC list, our full distribution. So you can click on a link, see the draft plan there. And then we can present on that at this group next month. So the schedule right now is to have public comment open through mid-March, take all the comments back in and compile the final and take that to our board in May. So yeah, should be a fun open house. We'll have stations. You can talk to us about the plan. The project list will be in the appendix on the CTP. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions or comments about the plan.
Cool. Thank you, Chris.
And Mr. Chair, if I may, we have two other public meeting announcements. One on the night of February 3rd at Healdsburg High School on the Healdsburg Safe Routes to School plan updates. That will be at 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., I believe. And then also on February 5th, we'll have another meeting at Sonoma Valley High School on the State Route 121 8th Street East Intersection Improvement Project. That one will also be at 6 p.m. So looking forward to a couple more public meetings coming up.
And just to add on to that, so the Safe Routes to School plan is a different look than prior Safe Routes to School plans I've worked on, where we're doing true corridor studies and they're standalone projects or a project all as a whole, unlike prior ones I've worked on, and with the hopes that maybe they're grant worthy or grant ready at the end of the process. So we'll see how the public meeting goes.
When was the public meeting for the 8th Street East intersection?
It's 6 p.m. on February 5th. And we'll be sure to send out the information on that.
You should let us know if you want us to post anything on socials or anything like that to encourage people to go. I know a lot of Sonomans utilize that quite a bit. I'm looking forward to that roundabout a lot because it makes my commute to work, my 10-minute commute to work, well. So yeah.
All right, going once. All right, adjourned. Thank you.
This is beautiful. Are these papers?
This is this little wedge. I think we're gonna get landscaping in this big